our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are
326-0272. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself live on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Express Yourself is the name of the show. You need to call and express yourself. This is Open Line Friday. You know, every Friday is Open Line. And of course, we can have a round table discussion today. Mr. Hyler is here. I expect one or two other persons who might also be here. Brother Cartwright would be here. He probably would be a little delayed. And so we're going to have a round table discussion on Friday. Just like we had last week, I thought to add more to it. And we expect to have more people added as we move from Friday to Friday. We want to have an interesting discussion. Open line on anything you're willing to talk about. You want to talk about Vice President Kamala Harris, or you might want to talk about Donald Trump. You might want to talk about some other thing. What's happening in England? You know, they're having some riots over there, and I have some comments to make on that one. Also, you have some things happening right here in our own country, also in the Caribbean. We have some issues that are very outstanding, long-standing for a very long time. We haven't done much or virtually nothing at all about these gnawing issues that have been hurting us for so long. And I think it's time to begin to do something because people are complaining. I mean, I heard complaints today. Even I heard a particular talk show who's talking about who's going to be winning their seats in the next election. You talk about Mr. Davis winning his seat and Mr. Chester Cooper winning his seat. You know, some of us are completely blind, you know. And we can easily be misled and deceived because we don't have hardcore facts, hardcore evidence of what's really going on. We just blind our eyes, close our eyes to the harsh realities we have today. The point is, you have to ask yourself, what are the qualifying standards? What are you judging these particular personalities on? What major national problems has the government of Bahamas solved over the last 3 years? And what are the benefits that come to the Bahamian people? That's what you judge them on. You had one as prime minister, the other one, well, minister of tourism and aviation. I don't deal with this nonsense about no deputy prime minister because that is not a constitutional office. That has not yet been corrected for the last 51 years. You people sit right here allowing these people put this crap all over us. And then the man can say these two particular personalities will get elected. He has a right to his view. I'm not knocking him for that. But sometimes people come on there, they talk a lot of crap, a lot of foolishness, a lot of nonsense. And people are hiding in both of those two islands, Exuma and also Cat Island. These islands are like in the back of the bush. Now, foreigners are benefiting. Foreigners are getting benefits over the natives. Did you notice that happening in Cat Island and also happening in Exuma? Why is that? The average citizen on those islands are not getting. And then you got another one, they ain't got no water. I think that's Elutra, if I'm not mistaken. No water. Well, how come? How come they ain't getting no water? But the foreigners getting water. Well, how could foreigners get water and you ain't got none? Then people who say they got resort here, resort there, this private island, that private island. And the government seems to be catering. No, not seems. Let me take that back. They are catering to them over the Bahamian people. And they're making inroads. In fact, I had one foreign talk show host talked about the fact that the Western governments of this country are going against their own citizens in favor of foreigners. say it's happening in the United States, it's happening in England, it's happening in Canada, it's happening in many places all around the world. And all kind of trouble is happening in England. I got to get more up-to-date information on it, but you got these Islamic people. Everywhere they go, they create trouble, breaking up the place, rioting. For what? They want to impose their way on people. You have a democracy where people are allowed to practice freely, but they don't want people to do that. They want their brand of religion to be imposed, or their way of life, whatever they call it, to be imposed on other people. Now, of course, in our country, we have a constitution, which you have a section called Fundamental Rights and Freedoms of who? The individual. That's talking about the individual personality. The individual personality cannot supersede the overall goals of the country mentioned in the preamble. How that could happen? National commitment to do some specific things. And you notice you got some people who are always looking back into the darkness. Our ancestors came out of darkness into a new world, into God's marvelous light. God says he's called us out of darkness into his marvelous night, not them other fellows' things. So we're in the light now. And there are some people who want to go back into the darkness. What you going back there for? When Abraham left Ur of the Chaldees, he didn't look back. He didn't tell Isaac and all those people who succeeded him, listen, you got to go look back. Them people in Ur of the Chaldees, that's where I was from. Even they mention it. When he left, and God told him, I have something special for you. Same thing with the Bahamian people. God has something special for us. So what are we looking back for? Our ancestors came out. Those people who stay over there, that's their thing. Ain't nothing to do with them. But you got some people selling this crappy story about our ancestry, which those people who descended from them have nothing to do with us. Our ancestors left. They came this way. They didn't stay there. We're descendants of those who came this way. That's how we're in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And you look at the political history of all those nations on the continent of Africa, look at them. How broke up and crappy they are. Sudan, look at Sudan, Bahamians. Look at Chad, Nag, and them other countries who've been experimenting. Well, some of them didn't get no democracy. They're always shooting and killing these landlocked territories. And people got to run from one place to the next. Is that what you want to do? Where are we going to run? Into the sea? Because we only have Bahama Islands, and then there's the water out there. Plenty of water. You can't stay on the water unless you got one boat. And then the boat could break down. And one hole in the boat and you're out in the middle of the ocean. Some other things happen. Storm come up. And all you have is this piece of wood that you're on, instead of being on an island with others. Bahamians, I am so glad that I was born, and now let me just say this. Let me withdraw the word born, because the thing is, I was born in the colony called the Bahama Islands. Let me get it straight now. Because see, being born in the Bahamas will make you no citizen. Let me make that clear. So I had to withdraw the word born. But I am delighted that God caused me to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I ain't got to apologize to nobody for that. That's where God placed me. This beautiful, wonderful country. See how many people want to come here? And you got some ones who want to take it away from us by confusing our people with their rhetoric and causing a lot of confusion. That's why I am working very hard to make sure that we ain't gonna have no burning down in here. No one's supposed to go to try to burn down the House of Assembly. That's an historic building. We need to preserve that, Bahamians. You ain't see no police with no big machine gun hanging around there. The tourists love to come there and take pictures. And in front of the Queen's statue. It's a safe place. And you could go to the House of Assembly and just press the button and they let you in. I'm not saying they got no cameras now. They got cameras who could see you coming in. But we don't want it to be a police state. We got armed guards around the House of Assembly and around the Senate building and the Supreme Court building. We don't have that in the Bahamas. That's foreign to us. But in other countries, that's what they have to deal with. And it is very, very hard. I believe we have a call on the line. I haven't even introduced my guest yet today. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there? I'm not hearing the caller. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Oh, Thompson.
Yeah, what you say?
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm right here, man. You're the first one on the line today. So what you got to tell us?
Yeah, well, I mean, ain't nothing to do today. It's just a beautiful day. And
it is a beautiful day.
You know, I mean, every day is a beautiful day. But
aren't you glad to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas?
You know, thank God on this side of the world.
Of course. Our ancestors came here. We ain't nothing to do with them people over there.
Yeah.
And some people want me to go back into darkness. You have any crap like that?
You understand? They want you to go back
into darkness. God called me out of darkness into his marvelous light. This is light on this side of the world. And they want me to go back into the darkness.
Come on, man. You're going back there? No, sir. No, sir.
They are not my ancestors.
But
you know something? They're not my ancestors. My ancestors came out.
Right.
When Abraham left the Ur of Chaldees, he came out. He didn't tell the children of Israel, boy, y'all got to look back at them people in the Ur of Chaldees. That's where I came from.
That's right.
That was out of his mind altogether. Isaac don't even know nothing about that.
You see, he looked for a city, didn't know where he's going, but at the end of the day, God brought him out, eh?
God brought him out and said, now listen, you just listen to me. I can give you a land better than the one you got. That's what God gave us.
Exactly.
He gave us the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to work with. Go ahead.
But I want to know if you could remember which one the gentleman you ride on a helicopter with. What's going on, man?
That's an interesting point.
I bet you ain't know where you're going.
You better clarify it. Go ahead.
Donald Trump.
Donald
Trump don't know which one the helicopter he being on with the man.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
He just as two brown, right?
Yes.
One of these brown connected to Miss Harris.
Okay.
And one Donald Trump no. Donald Trump being on the helicopter ride and it almost going down with this brown man.
Okay.
But he's saying now, he telling the media he been on a helicopter ride with this brown who know Miss Harris.
So what's that to do with Miss Harris?
You understand me?
What's that to do with Miss Harris?
Right. And the man say he don't know nothing about that. Say Donald Trump ain't be on a ride with him. Not knowing Donald Trump being on a ride with somebody else, he can't remember. And this fool, Donald Trump can't start a doubting.
Oh, okay, all right. How old is he now? Is he 78?
He's 78.
Oh, that's what I thought.
So he gonna let a 59-year-old woman beat a 78-year-old man. Y'all, they taking advantage of Donald Trump.
Who was taking advantage of him? You mean his? Who's taking advantage of Donald?
Because they putting a 59-year-old woman on Donald Trump to beat him.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
And I want them to give Donald Trump a good beating. He going around. See, settle, saying like, but he talking for the Christian say, Miss vote for him and come back. God do this. God do the next thing.
Okay.
And he know he mean all of that, what he's saying.
Okay.
You see, if you mean have all this God inside your mouth, you will speak good things about your other the other person.
Yes.
The next week he like a madman.
Yes.
You know. So don't mind him.
Uh-huh.
But they're going for the debate
Okay.
September the 10th.
September the
You
10th.
mean?
Is that going to be a debate?
Huh?
Is that going to be a day for a debate?
Yeah.
Is
Him and
Mrs.
Harris.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're going for the debate.
She agreed for it, right?
Huh?
She agreed for that?
Yeah, I was telling him, bring it on.
Oh, okay. All right.
She ready for him. He can start acting all kind of foolishly and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And I got to
That's
listen to
how-
that one.
Yeah, that's how we get his kick and stuff because, we have one of your colleagues over here
Yes.
campaigning every Christ evening.
Yes. That is true.
Yeah,
you're right.
He wearing the necktie, the hat. See, he got his headquarters here.
Yes.
But, man, let me tell you something. Leaders, the Bible says, dare a little and hear a little.
Yes.
If we can go back to the Old Testament and pick out some followers, some leaders being directed by God,
Yes.
we will see better results in our country.
Yes.
But because the Bible says not by might nor power, but it's by my spirit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When we don't take counsel like Jeremiah 33 chapter and the 22 verse.
Okay.
Because they is not of my counsel, said the Lord. This is the reason why the nation going like it is today.
Yes, sir.
When you sit in the counsel of God, you cannot go wrong, Brother Sid.
I agree. Yeah.
His leaders will only pay attention like Solomon did. Say, Lord, all I want is the wisdom and knowledge to govern your people.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I ain't want no riches. But God tell him, now you ain't asked for no rich, but I can give it to you.
And you got plenty.
But what happened? Solomon was doing good until he started going astray.
And he let those
And we see
females go.
leaders going astray, and they wouldn't say, well, you know something? Let me turn around and stop and hear what the Lord is saying.
Yes.
Even pastors start on a good foot. They start out good in church. Look at the man, what y'all call the bishop. There's an open line, Lawrence Road. He all about in the police uniform, dancing all over the place.
Okay.
You can't make these stories up.
Yeah. Okay.
And we calling these people bishop and things like that. No, these people are not in line and order with what the Bible
says. Yes.
Thank you, Brother Sid.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let me introduce my special guest here, Brother Dwayne Hyler. Thank you very much for coming. I expect some more to come. They probably will be delayed getting here. But let me introduce you now because I know you're ready to move, and I don't want to hold you up too long. Go ahead, Brother Hyler.
Good day, Professor Thompson. I appreciate the ongoing invitation, and good day, Bahamas. There's a lot going on in the country, and I'll start by saying that we really have to, I believe, do a better job working together.
I agree.
On behalf of one another. It should not be every man for himself and God for us all.
Yes.
It's a weak position to be in, regardless of your background, your discipline, your training.
Yes.
You know, we just need to work together. We need to listen to one another. We need to advance together. We need to lay hold of forward, onward, upward together.
Yes.
All of it,
That's correct.
and the together is something that really is visibly lacking, in my view. It's just in my view, in Bahamian society. It
But
doesn't
is
seem
it
like
true or
we are-
false? I
Well-
mean, you have a right to express a view, but is it true or false?
the public can determine that. It's just my observation.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like we are together, Professor?
Well, let's put it this way. See, I always base everything on the Constitution,
Mm.
The Constitution tells us whether we are right or whether we are wrong. When you look at the facts on the ground, that's why I gave the challenge on July the 8th. The Bahamian people say, Professor, what is it that we can do?
Mhm.
And the next 18 months will prove it, whether they are serious or not, because I'm not going to let up on it. I told them specifically, clearly, in simple, basic, fundamental language, what they can do legally, constitutionally, and biblically. So they don't have no excuse. And if they don't know how to do it, they don't know how to organize themselves. I said, all you do is call the radio station, leave your name and number, call me at my own number, like over the weekend when the station is closed or no one is here to answer the phone, and you will get clear direction as to how you ought to go. I don't want to leave people in doubt on anything. Because see, when you do that, I was talking to someone earlier today. I said, we're not getting clear-cut information on certain issues that affect the Bahamian people. And what's going to happen is when you have all this confusion out there, people are going to come to their own conclusions. I don't like that. Are we working together? Are we forward, upward, onward together as a nation? The answer is no, we're not. All available evidence proves it. Can we correct it? Yes, we can. Are we prepared to correct it? That remains to be seen. That's why I told them, let's give me my 18 months. And let's get something done on the ground in each particular constituency. One major constituency problem to be solved by the constituents themselves. If they're serious, well, then they'll do it. So you can't say you didn't have the opportunity to do it. You can't say you didn't know how to do it. Because I put my name out there and I said, listen, if you don't know how to organize on the ground, well, then you call Professor Thompson. Professor, how can we set this up? I'll come right there and set it up for them. But I told them, 51% or more of the people in that particular constituency must become righteous in their dealings one with another. Then the constituency is headed for progress. I will never let them forget that. Because if you're going to spell wickedness, you need to replace it with righteousness. Number two, you need a team, a righteous team, because the scripture says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Now, the constituents got to give the righteous a chance to get the job done by supporting them financially, by supporting them morally, by supporting them in every conceivable way to deal with that one particular issue that the constituents would agree to deal with. So they ain't got no excuse to say they didn't know. I wanted to make that crystal clear. See, I'm not going to leave anything for chance anymore because some people just don't know. They're so confused. So why leave these people in the dark? We ought to come out of darkness into the marvelous light of God. 2 Peter 2:9, if I'm not mistaken. We are a chosen generation, a royal priest. This is what Dr. Ari Cooper told us, July the 10th, 1973. We must forget all about that. So why should I go back to Africa? For what? People want me to go back into darkness. My ancestors came out of the darkness and came on this side of the world. I ain't got no ancestors over there. They came out. Abraham left the other Chaldees, those people who stayed there. That's them. Those people who are descendants of those people who stayed back there, that's nothing to do with us. You check the history of those nations who became, well, they say there's a republic, all right? Just check the political history. And see how some of them are struggling to experiment with democracy. They don't even have one single principle that is entrenched in our Constitution. They're shedding all kind of blood in the streets, in those countries, and don't even have one entrenched provision that we have in our Constitution. They ain't got it.
No, Professor.
Yes, sir.
To your point, right? We have a very strong Constitution. At the same time, we're talking about the Independence Order 1973. But if the families, if the heads of the families, I'm talking about Bahamian families, if they do not have personal constitutions for their own household, for their own mindsets, if they don't have their own personal convictions that align with the Constitution, then what sense does it make discussing the Constitution if we are not going to apply it? So I get where your frustration is on many occasions.
Let's put it this way. The Bahamian people, 99% of them don't know the Constitution. That's a fact of life. I have proven that over the last 51 years. 99% of them don't know it. Now, some of them are beginning to understand after all these years, because they say, Professor, I didn't know that was so. Well, that's fine. That's 51 years gone under the water. Now we have an opportunity to do something about it. And I'm not going to let up on that. They all have to do is go by the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is our salvation document. You don't have anything else. Now, their personal constitution, their family, I guess they could work that out. But the point is the national objectives of the Bahamas. National commitment to self-discipline. National commitment to unity. National commitment to the rule of law. We got some others in there too.
Okay, look at those three you just said.
Yes.
National commitment to self-discipline.
Yes.
Where's the self-discipline in our national fiscal responsibility? In our national money management?
You ain't have none. You know why you don't have none? Because the people who are running things don't know the Constitution.
But when they are questioned, look, not to keep looking back, right? But look at just a few weeks ago, when you question those in authority, look what happens. They go on the defensive, and they prepare to even insult you openly and publicly.
What more would you expect from ignorant people?
Wow.
What more would you expect?
Wow.
You expect to get any sense from people who don't want to admit when they're wrong?
But these are high-ranking people I'm
It
talking
doesn't
about.
matter. Wow. They got carnal nature just like everybody else. About high rank. That doesn't mean anything. A position, a responsibility, one office, one title, that doesn't mean anything. The nature of the person in the office, you can have a dog in the office, but it's still a dog. You can have a cat in the office, it's still a cat. They got carnal nature just like every single person. But the unfortunate thing about it is you give these people authority and power in your country who don't mean you no good, and they have shown you for 51 years they don't.
Who don't mean the people no good, Professor?
The persons who were given the authority to run this place. That's who I'm talking about. The record is there to speak who they are. This is no deep, guarded secret. It's out in the open. And those who are there now are showing you what their real colors are. So what more you expect from them? I don't expect nothing more from them. But now there's something to do about it. See, that's what I'm trying to get the payment people to understand. Stop worrying about the weaknesses of these personalities you have placed there who are not doing what they ought to do to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. So what you can do, just keep fooling around with them. Instead of taking the appropriate action that is constitutionally sound to save this place, you will waste time with them.
So what actions could they take? I have one or two
Constitution tells
thoughts.
you. No, but the
Okay.
Constitution is clear.
Hmm.
What action you need to take?
So, okay, what happens when you establish an electricity corporation, for example, BEC, going back to the original acts of parliament?
Yeah.
What happens when you establish these, but the modern leaders just go and repeal, replace, circumvent, or take them out of circulation altogether?
Remember now, Parliament has the authority to repeal laws. Parliament has the authority to make laws. The only thing they do not have authority for, those entrenched provisions of your Constitution, which must come to the Bahamian people for ratification. Now, see, that's what they don't want. They want nothing to do with that. So what they do is circumvent the Constitution by passing these. The Attorney General tell them they could do it,
The statutory laws.
statutory laws. And he's dead wrong when he says that. He gave them that bad advice. They're trying to circumvent constitutional law by passing these statutory laws, right? And they say, okay, we go in with that. So we ain't got to call no referendum. But I got news for them. Tell them keep playing around, talking foolishness and nonsense. That can get fixed.
Professor, we go on the break. Can I read one statement from
Read
Facebook?
it. Read
Quick.
it. Yeah, quick.
One person says, "Good afternoon, all. Only Pia Glover-Roll will win her seat in 2026.
Well, I'm not even interested in that. Because those the kind of things, I'm not interested in even talking about that kind of foolishness. See, this is what I keep telling you about people.
Yeah.
We don't check our Constitution, man.
Okay.
Check what the Constitution says and you'll have a better country. Stop talking about these personalities doing foolishness and nonsense. That's what got us in the predicament we're in. Anyhow, I got to stop because I hear the music and the man cut me soon. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on this open line Friday. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Join
From South Beach to Bay Street.
I'm pleased, I really dig your company.
It's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM, Bahamians. I'm going to warn you as strongly as I possibly can. We have very serious problems on the ground in the various constituencies. And I just got some very disturbing information that is published in one of our major newspapers. I have my special guest here, Dwayne Hiley. He's going to go through it for me and with me, and also for the sacred audience. I've been saying to you people for some time, I knew that some things were in the works, but I couldn't specifically say what they were at that particular time. But I'm going to say to you today on the 9th, this is the 9th day of August. All right, I got to make sure I get it right now. Because remember, I sent out this notice to the Bahamian people July the 8th, and then someone told me when I thought it was August the 8th, it was not. It was just a day earlier. But Bahamians, if you do not follow Article 24.1 of your Constitution to protect your interests, you know what's going to happen to us? We're going to lose. We're going to lose big time. The only salvation you have is your Constitution. Do not hang on to any other piece of crap out there or any piece of paper that somebody puts in front of you and say, this is what we're going to go by. That will not save you. The only thing that could save you is the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You are on solid, rock solid ground, and the Holy Bible. Once you stand on the Holy Bible and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, you can win any battle. Don't mind what them other fellas trying to tell you. They don't want to deal with the Holy Bible, and they don't want to deal with the Constitution. That's your strength, Bahamians. Now, if you want to fool around with these people with these pieces of paper and they write crap on it and say they can run things that way, you're bound to lose. It cannot even stand up in a court of law. That's the thing. The only thing that stands strong in law is the supreme law, which is the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Because I'm going to tell you, Bahamians, you're going to be severely tried and tested. And it's on us right now, today. That's why I gave you that over a month ago to tell you to get busy now. And you wasted a whole month. Anyhow, Brother Hyler, bring this information forward because it's published in the press today. Go ahead.
So today, published in today's Tribune, is a notice coming out of the office of the Prime Minister. And it says, Declaration of Intended Acquisition of Land in Fox Hill, New Providence. And it has here, full page, it has here on page 12 of today's Tribune, a copy of a new act passed apparently in Parliament. It's called the Acquisition of Land Act. Dated, it says here, the survey plan of the said land may be expected at the Department of Lands and Surveys, situated at Bay and Armstrong Street. Dated 1st of August 2024, signed Minister responsible for the acquisition and disposition of lands, which happens to be the Prime Minister. Published in the paper is from the Fox Hill area, 20 pieces of property. Some have on it occupied by, and it has names. Some properties have various occupants, according to what is written here. And after page 12, it goes on page 13, page 14, page 15, page 16, page 17, and page 18. All with land from various families. And this is a declaration of an intention to acquire this land. The purpose, it says, namely, to make land available by way of sale, lease, or otherwise for the housing of persons of low or middle income, and that the said promoter intends to acquire the said land for the said public purpose. All persons interested in the said land shall, within 30 days of the publication of this notice in the Gazette or the posting of the same, should state in writing to the promoter, whether by hand delivery or by post. It has a postal address, Nassau, Bahamas, the nature of their interest in the said land. Let me just move on to say there are names. I wouldn't say the full names, but I'm noticing here that I'm seeing names like Fitzgerald, Davis, Brown, these are last names, Ferguson, Collymore, Umbrister, Moss, Gray, Clinton, Davis again. So if this land is being acquired for repurpose or to make available to other persons, I mean, we're just coming out of a famine. I'll just offer a comment, Professor.
Yes, you can.
We are in difficult times right now. The government is in difficult times, even though everybody may not admit it. Let me just say that the chairman of the governing party right now was recorded as saying that the government is in a cash crunch, and then we heard, to be fair, he came back later and said, I did not say that. That's been happening quite a bit recently, where statements are put forward by the media. I don't. Anyway, the point is, there is an aggressive, there appears to be, let me say it that way, there appears to be an aggressive attitude from the government towards taxpayers, towards business persons. We've heard reports in the daily newspapers of complaints coming out of the business sector that it seems, very aggressive. The way that the government is approaching the business community. This is who's paying everybody through importation, through their business activities. They are paying their taxes, notwithstanding some persons may be attempting to avoid taxes. What I'm saying is there are many things happening that could lead you to think, well, maybe we are in a cash situation. Now, notice went out from the office of the Prime Minister a few months ago. To be fair, they did state that persons owing property tax, the government was going after taking property from persons that have not paid their taxes. It's not illegal. It's questionable, especially in times the way they are. Persons don't know where to turn for help. The government is one of those places that you should be able to turn for help, for relief, for subsidy or whatnot. Our hotel industry, our major hotels are subsidized by the government, to the tune of millions of dollars. I think it's $25 million just from, I think, perhaps BPL. I stand to be corrected. But if I'm not mistaken, the major hotels, they are underwritten. Some of them, they don't pay what we pay. That's my point. They employ us, but they don't pay what we pay. So if they could get support from the government, what about these persons in Foxhill? Couldn't some arrangement be made? Let them develop their property to offer it, to those who need low-cost homes. Why not write a program, put it together where you do a joint venture with these same property owners? Why could you not have offered to build, for example? They have the land, partner with them. Do it in a way where their equity could be preserved. And you're joint venturing with Pike Corporation and the other foreigners. Why can't you joint venture with Bahamians so we can grow together?
I remember the motto: forward, upward, onward, together.
It's supposed to be together.
No, that's the motto. There's no doubt about that. The motto. But let me see. I'm listening to you very carefully. That's why I wanted to listen carefully to what you were saying before I comment. Now,
Could I give the date? I did say the date.
Yeah, you said August.
August the 1st.
Yeah, August the 1st.
No, put up.
No, put
Continue,
up,
please.
Okay,
Sorry.
now,
Yeah.
okay, listen. These properties are already occupied. Are
They
they?
have buildings on them.
And people are living in these buildings.
Some of them are
So now-
occupied.
Now, what did the government say they purchased? They want this acquisition for to do what? What are they saying right now? They want to repeat that so I could understand them.
Let me read it properly.
Let's read. Yeah, let's
Yeah, let me
say
read it
exactly
properly.
what's written in the paper.
Okay, let's go back to that.
The amount of one
Okay.
talking no foolishness that we misquote them.
Okay. Now, therefore, notice is hereby given by the promoter, the minister responsible for acquisition and disposition of lands. Now, the promoter is the prime minister.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
just make that clear.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the minister responsible for acquisition and disposition of lands.
Okay.
That the said land is needed for a public purpose,
Uh-huh.
namely making land available by way of sale, lease, or otherwise for the housing of persons of low or middle income.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Now, see, I have a problem right there. Aren't these people in that category now?
Well,
Or
apparently,
these high-end people?
if they were high end, they would be able to keep up with their tax, and they would be able to develop their land if they were
Okay.
on the high end.
Right. So they're saying now, you're acquiring, this seems to be a little confusing, but I just got to go by what they're saying here. You're acquiring land from these low-end people to give to some other low-end people? Is that the understanding?
That's the understanding. We may get word back that maybe they are paying. I don't see, but they hopefully, maybe they are paying. And let me just say, Professor, and I think you know this, the last person that's going to pay you for land is going to be the government. The very last person. I think they call it escheatment. The legal term, escheatment. It don't. I mean, it sounds like cheat, but it's not supposed. Professor, don't laugh. It's not supposed to sound like cheat.
But don't these
But-
people need their land? See, I can't understand if these are low-end people. And Bahamians, listen to this carefully, because this don't seem to make any sense to me. These people are living in these particular properties. Some may not be occupied. Okay, that's understandable. But don't you think, what we can do with them then? Where they going?
Let me name the streets:
Name the streets, yeah. Name the streets.
Bernard Road,
Okay, Bernard Road.
Rose Street, Step Street,
I know about Step Street in Park Hill.
Cockburn Street,
I know about Cockburn Street.
okay, Grant Street, if I didn't say that before,
Okay. Name some more.
Gray's Terrace,
I know where Gray's Terrace is.
okay,
I'm familiar with Gray's Terrace.
okay, Reeves Street,
Reeve Street. I heard about that.
and
street.
Rock Court, that's the side
Side
Street,
Street.
Bristol.
So So
On Bristol
these,
Street?
okay, you could stop
Yeah,
right there.
mhm.
These are streets where the average low-end people live, low-income people live, most of them.
Yes.
But then I don't understand it. Why are you trying to acquire land for what you say low-end people for housing from these very same people who need this land for themselves? I don't understand it.
The
Does
very,
that make any sense?
not to me, the
The
very,
Haymans, you out there listening to the show, please make Professor understand if this makes any sense.
especially if you're in Fox Hill.
Especially in Fox Hill, because I'm familiar with those streets that they're talking about. I've been in them.
The first property is 4 acres. The first thing on this, all those certain lots, pieces, or parcels of land containing by at measurement 4 and 94 hundredths, 4.94 acres
Yes.
of land, 20 parcels. Wow.
This is the total amount of land.
No, 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 no. That's only one
just
piece.
one piece.
That's
Okay.
one piece.
And there's some other pieces.
Right.
Okay. All right.
On Bernard Road, that's major.
Well, I know where Bernard Road is. Yeah.
Well, that's major.
Okay. Now these other pieces on these other properties, do they have there the measurements of what they are?
They do.
Okay.
16,000 square feet. That's one. 9,000 square feet. Another.
Now, see, this is where I have a problem. You are taking land from low-end people to give to some other low-end people. What kind of nonsense is that?
Well,
I just don't understand it.
I'm curious as to whether or not the people you give them to gonna have Bahamian names too. That's what I'm- that's what I'm
another
wondering.
guy. Okay, we have a caller. Public, please try to explain this to the professor, because I don't understand this action by the office of the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's demand for acquisition of land and all that. Caller, I'm going to come to you in a moment. I don't understand what's going on, because if these people are low-end people, and you mentioned 16,000 square feet, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, some a little bit bigger. But I'm getting the impression the streets you named, these are low-end people themselves. And they're going to need their piece of property. Where the hell are they going? Anyhow, we got a call on the line. I don't know. Maybe this caller might be able to help me to understand. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. Good
Yeah, go
afternoon, Mr. Hyder.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
Okay.
Do you live in
Well,
Fox Hill?
I don't live in Fox Hill, but I live close to Fox Hill.
Okay. Do you understand this, what we were reading here in the papers?
Yeah, I understand clearly. They take in people if you owe the government taxes on your property, they're taking it from you so they could make provisions to assist some other
But they
people
say
who may have
anything-
their money.
No, hold on now. Hold on. Did they say anything about these people owing any taxes? Is that in,
Well,
in the notice?
well, it's not in the notice,
Uh-huh.
but I'm saying that out of the office of the Prime Minister,
Yes.
it was stated early in the year
Okay.
that they would be going after properties. And I don't want to make no assumptions, but it seems like this lines up with that initiative.
Well, let me say this
Okay, go ahead, caller. Go
in
ahead.
my observation,
Yes.
and I want us all to do this starting from this evening, okay? In the communities that you live in, well, not all of them, but in the inner city community is when you look at specifically Fox Hill. If you look at most of the small shops who owners in the community,
Yes.
majority of them now are Haitian owned.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, the population of Haitians is tremendously growing in Fox Hill. Now you know they're about to move some Haitians off some land that they're squatting on. So where these people got to go? These people need places to stay. They need to make provisions to assimilate these people in, whether they're doing it legally or illegally.
All right.
I also want to share an experience that I had this morning. I stopped by Esso gas station there on Wolf Road, right?
Yes.
The majority of the workers there is Haitian nationals. I was paying for my gas, waiting for my change, and the Haitian man come from outside who works there, just cut in front of me. He didn't say excuse me, he didn't say good morning, he didn't say nothing. So I look at him, I say, so you won't see me in front of the line, eh?
Oh man, you done finished, man. I say, well, that's the whole point. And I look at the owner. The owner was right there who run the business.
Yeah.
I say, your problem is you'll have all these Haitians working here acting like Bahamians in one job. You know, she can tell me Bahamians don't want work. So it's the owners, the business owners, the same business owners who Mr. Tyler like to defend.
Yeah.
They're the owners, they're the business owners who hiring a lot of Haitians keeping this immigration problem, who paying in the back door, who paying this one to stay quiet and don't do their job,
Okay.
and hiring these people over us, you know.
All right.
And then there's the ones who telling us, when we ask them about it, that Bahamians don't want work. They spreading the lies about us. I said, miss, I said Bahamian, I don't hire Haitian, I do all my work myself. So when you talk about Bahamians don't want work, that's a lie from the pits of hell.
Yes.
And we need to talk to the business owners, to the renters, to anyone that is now supporting this immigration matter and making a challenge for us who want to now stop it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah. Okay, caller. Well, thank you for your contribution.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
get
thank you
that
very
problem
much.
solved now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, he adds something else to the mix here, because see, I keep saying that when it comes to these issues, constituency issues, national issues, the Bahamian people need to have clarity on what is what. Now, I don't know what the circumstances are in relation to why they're doing this, but you mentioned something you said earlier this year about people who owe money on land,
Yeah,
and so
just
on,
like
taxes.
inactive accounts, inactive bank accounts
Yes,
where persons have not touched or been in contact with the bank
yes,
with large sums of money on some of those accounts
yes.
in the hundreds of thousands and some in the
In the
millions of dollars.
Yes.
The government also announced that they need that too.
Need to do what? That ain't
I-
their money.
I,
You mean they want to take them people money too?
that's with no consideration of track down the next of kin.
But they can find them.
That's if they
They
look.
can find them. No, but see, the point is, there may be specific reasons as to why the account is inactive. We don't want to assume anything.
Mhm.
But I can tell you one thing: ain't nobody gonna have no hundreds of with big money in the bank and just leave it sitting there
Well,
and do nothing with it.
well, some next of kin, in terms of,
Well, of
if persons
course.
have passed away,
Yes.
persons have moved away for
Yes.
whatever reason,
Yes.
insurance claims may have come through that they were unaware of and
That is
deposited to the bank.
all
To
of
the
that.
yeah.
That's a possibility. I
Yeah.
agree with you when you say it that way. Yes.
Professor, you think they can go look for the people to give them the money now?
But they should go and look for them.
Okay.
You don't take people money.
All right.
How about they like people to take money from them? You don't treat people like that. That's them people's money. You can't just think you have a right to go and take people's money. That's their personal possession. That's their personal property. The Constitution speaks to that, you know, about acquiring people's property. Huh? Come on, man. I hear the music in the background. I
Yeah.
got to stop now. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. We go to break. We have an interesting discussion. Look like we end up talking about land today. That's the way it seems, with what's here in the press, in the papers. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
From Cable Beach to Montague, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM, Bahamians. This is Express Yourself. This is time for you to express yourself on air live. You can call the radio station and express yourself, but you have to do something about what is happening in the country. Bahamians, a lot of things are happening. All kind of things happening in the constituencies. I tell you about constituency problems. Then we got national problems that are occurring in our country. And it seems as if more and more burdens are being added to the Bahamian people. I thought we would be relieved of burdens, but it seems as if we're getting more burdens. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, caller, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what is going on the radio.
Yeah,
I
okay.
was given an idea that government is taking lots of, I heard the area I live in Foxhill or something. I just
Fox
found
Hill.
out.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, it's my advice. The information I got is it's published in both the Tribune and the Guardian.
This morning?
Yeah, this morning's paper. Yeah.
Okay, because I know I have a lot to Rose Street, and someone called me and tell me they will call that area.
What the area you call again? What the
Rose
area?
Street. Rose Street. It's
Rose Street.
Yes, it's off Reming Street, and it's
Brother
off
Hardy, you
Reming.
could check that for the caller. He said Rose Street off Ramming Street.
Rose Street of Reming Street, and
Yeah.
it also runs on to Rose Street runs straight to Cockburn Street.
Okay.
I know about Cockburn
So
Street.
yes, Cockburn Street is included, and I'm looking over it right now. Yes. So Rose Street going over to Ramming Street, and this property has multiple buildings on it. It has like 3 buildings on it.
Where exactly on would that be a junction or into the corner?
It's at a junction. It's opposite a junction. Has a stone wall to the back of the property, and I didn't want to call any
Yeah, I know.
names, but
Right.
I'll offer a family name, last name. Okay, Professor.
Yeah, okay,
You wanna
yeah,
get-
go ahead.
So it
See, once it's in the press, see,
Yeah,
the thing
it-
about
it's
people don't
public
understand,
knowledge.
Once it's public
Yeah.
what
knowledge,
is
we could call
what
the
is
name.
family name?
Family name. Give the family name.
Davis.
Davis. Is it opposite Davis?
No, he said the family name is Davis.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's not the name. It says occupied by.
Oh,
It
Davis.
it does
Okay.
have a first name there,
Okay.
but the last name is Davis.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I
it's
just,
interesting.
caller, stay on the line a moment. I
'Cause-
just don't understand.
Because he said
Oh.
the caller said somebody called him
Yeah, he said that.
because
Yeah.
he has knowing that
And
he
That's
has.
it.
just moments ago, someone told me that y'all is talking with land too on the radio set,
That is
Yeah.
on the
correct.
radio, and
Yes.
y'all call the area and call the
Yes.
street, so
That's correct.
When you listen to Global, you get accurate and precise information.
Yes.
We make sure check the source out to make sure it's accurate.
Hmm.
But this is published by the Prime Minister's office, and the
Yes.
Prime
Okay.
Minister responsible for acquisition of lands.
Yes.
okay.
And
But I
apparently,
was given some instructions what I need to do and upload some things to a site that the land survey had told me, and I made several attempts and didn't got through, and then someone else told me try again, and I went on there personally and they just told me I must go and try again.
That's interesting.
very interesting.
We wouldn't ask your personal
Yeah,
business
yeah, I
as to
know.
what,
No,
you know what I
don't wanna
mean.
do that, no.
Yeah.
But here it is now. These, just in case you, like you said, you got information from somebody else. So
Yeah.
we'll
Right.
just repeat for you and other persons listening.
Right.
that the Prime Minister's office is stating that this land is being acquired based on public need. That's how it
Wow.
is here, based
Okay.
on the public need, public purpose.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to make the land available by way of sale to other persons. So they're selling and leasing or otherwise.
But they're saying that this particular land is occupied, right?
Yes.
Well, they are
Yeah,
occupied.
some are
So-
occupied. Some
Yeah.
are occupied. At least what is written on the document that was published, it states that some of them are occupied, and it actually has who it's occupied by.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And this is today's paper.
This is today's paper.
yeah, both the Guardian and the Tribune.
Yeah, we strongly suggest you
Yes,
pick up
go
a
and
copy
yes,
and take a look at that. And please pass the message on. See, today's
sir.
conversation is about speaking up and speaking out. And rather than it be every man for himself,
So
and, you
it
know,
is curious that you just said that they plan to put it up, and what would they be doing? Given this less fortunate person, I'm trying to understand.
well,
In
let me
other words,
see. I should have finished
read
reading it for
what
you. Let me
the acquisition supposed to be for.
let me fully
Caller,
read.
please listen very carefully because this is important.
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas it appears to the Prime Minister, the minister responsible for the acquisition and disposition of lands, that the land described in the schedule hereto is needed for a public purpose. Notice is hereby given by the promoter, which is the minister responsible for acquisition and disposition of lands,
That's the Prime Minister.
that the said land is needed for a public purpose, namely making land available by way of sale, lease, or otherwise for the housing of persons of low or middle income, and that this and that the said promoter intends to acquire the said land for the said public purpose.
See, that that's why I have a
I have a
problem,
problem
with
with that.
that. No,
I
I
have a
do.
problem
Oh,
with
yes, caller. I agree with you
Wow.
100%. Here are these low-income people.
Currently,
caller,
let's see
something with you out,
Yeah.
you give the lower. That's just confusing.
It is confusing.
So let me let you know right now. The next paragraph goes right into saying all persons, and that's in all capital letters, all persons interested in the said land shall within 30 days of this publication of this notice in the Gazette or the posting of the same state in writing to the promoter, which is the Prime Minister, whether by hand delivery or by post, and it gives the post office box in Nassau, Bahamas, the nature of their interest in the said land, the amount and particulars of their claims to compensation for such interests, and provide the relevant documents, if any, supporting those interests. So to be fair, if you have a claim on this land, bring your claim.
Okay, I see that.
You know,
Because you know, one of my neighbors, I no name calling, I understand.
Okay, yes, sir.
That they told her that she has 3 houses on this land, and this land is not even worth over $200,000, and only one house on the land,
Okay.
built from 1962 or something.
Okay.
And she had requested them to come and view her land, and they refused to.
Okay. Okay.
And so
Caller.
she had to get after David for her.
Wow.
Yeah, that is serious.
Caller, your call is very important.
I appreciate that.
And we appreciate your contribution.
Okay.
And we had to make the statement that historically, government has not been living up to its word with paying for property that has been acquired from persons. They need to check the record on that. So here's a new situation now. You have to go and present your claim. If you have a claim, And if you owe taxes, that's going to be a problem.
I mean, owing taxes
If you
on the
owe
land.
taxes to the government,
Oh, to the government. Oh,
to the
I see.
government, if you owe taxes to the government, that's going to be a problem. And we wouldn't assume what steps would be taken, but we'll wait to hear from the public. Hopefully, persons would speak up, like yourself. But please be informed that many of the streets in Foxhill, we named them earlier,
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah.
that these properties.
But these are where the
Yeah.
low income people live. I
Yeah.
just don't understand why the government of the Bahamas would want to acquire land from low income people to give to some other people. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I don't understand it. Maybe someone in Foxhill who understand these things or have understand it, please call into the show and make Professor understand. Because I just don't understand it. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
What up, Professor?
Yes.
Good day.
And your guest?
Yeah, he's
Good day.
doing well.
Good day. Thank you.
All
Good day.
right. Let me try to bring some clarity to how I feel what's going on.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Did any one of you all realize that a Haitian national win $500,000 yesterday from out of a court?
Yeah, that was discussed.
Yeah, we discussed
That was
yeah.
discussed. on the show.
$500,000
Yeah.
just because she's saying she was a Bahamian and would deny her citizenship, and nobody challenged her. So me as a young person, and I looking at that, now you saying you want to require land from
Acquire.
people. You
Yeah.
taking land from poor people to give it to another poor person, like you shifting it. You catch what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but
To who?
that's
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
that's
figure
serious.
out. Why would you take land from low income people, and the purpose that they say is for public purpose to give
But-
to other low income people? I don't understand it.
And because it ain't understandable, Professor. Because what I'm saying is we don't challenge nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't challenge nothing. You know
Yeah.
why? Because
Yeah.
they make lawyers them unreasonable. A poor person cannot go run get no lawyer because they telling you $200 to see them for an hour, and then when you try to retain them, it's like they making it ridiculous. That's exactly how the country running. Now, my biggest question is, if you take my land to say to give it to another person, because we have a housing problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, they think young people stupid. We have a housing problem. Look at right now. Every time they demolition one house, everybody pulling out permit saying that all of that is a crime. Because if you have a permit, you're supposed to be housing. You're supposed to be in a house. Whoever bring you supposed to house you. So I think that's right there. Your permit's supposed to be gone. But the land thing, every time when you hear them demolish, we have no place to go. We have no. So is this a strategy where you saying, okay, we can do this, the house, these set of people? Nobody wants to say it because it's like the elephant in the room. And that's what I feel going on. We got to be like what you say, the Constitution got to protect something. And where these lawyers around the place, we got government making they feel like they could just run upon people and take their stuff.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Call I feel the same way you feel.
That makes no and
it's
somewhere
despicable.
you know what I say is a coward. Somewhere you have a lawyer sitting down, listening to you, listening to everything. It still rubbed me wrong with that woman who walked away with $500,000 just to say she was a Bahamian citizen when she had no path to it.
Yes,
and
that's
then you're
correct.
talking about these who the one who just going into who replaced Keith Bell, who's supposed to know the Constitution and they ain't challenged that they paid that money. They paid that money.
Yeah.
And he's coming out the politicians, the immigration officers in the Bahamas. They let the Bahamian people down.
Okay.
And the prime minister, if the prime minister listening, please you put some clarity to that. Because whoever write that and think that's smart, that is the dumb. How could you take something from somebody who don't have nothing? You think if somebody had money, their land would have been clear.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't had nothing because they know it's a struggle for them to start from scratch to build something.
Of course.
But you want to take, and here's to make it clear. When you say you taking my property was a poor man to give it to a next poor man, who's the next poor man you giving it to?
Serious
That's
point.
a good question.
Who's
Excellent
the next
question.
poor man you giving it to?
Seriously.
Because don't tell me now, because you demolition in shanty towns, you trying to create something where you build something on it to give to these people. Who benefits? I can let y'all go on this. And this was frustrating, and they better watch the poor people. People feel what they don't understand. Watch poor people and the young people in the same country who we playing with trying to annex. Because we sitting back and we seeing what you do. Here's my argument, and I can let you go on this, Professor. When it's time to tax, you tax behemoth, these people go scot-free. When it's time to buy, they import, wherever they're importing their stuff, they come, they sell it, that tax-free. They steal land, that tax-free. They pay no lights, no water. How much more you, and then everything the government do wrong, we pay for it. Everything. If they make a $1 million mistake, they pay for it. The light people, whoever they put in charge of that, they make a mistake, the poor people pay for that. The grocery people feel like, okay, you adding things on our food, we pay for that. You understand? And we thinking, then you can say, okay, we can put 25 cents on your $260 a week. You can put me up to 170, then raise the rate, the tax rate on my money and take it right back from me. What's that? And you think we ain't understanding the cycle. It's a chokehold. And we know it's a chokehold. And see, we don't have no competition. It's a demolition of the behemoth people. Because, again, I say, if you take my stuff, you don't see my land clear. That's because I can't afford to bring the bricks. I can't afford to take the man who lay and everything. It's a cycle. Because if you go for bricklayers now, when you see a Haitian come, he charging you one price. Your yard cleaner, this man coming. Where all of these people come, every island full with them, and they only benefit, and every day sitting in silence. Why you? If one of them go to the hospital, you pay for it. You understand what I'm trying to say? When they put their kids in school, they everything we paying for. That's why we getting up and leaving, and then the elder ones want us to come back. Why? And Brave Davis, go on your knees and pray, please. Because sometimes you need that closet to yourself and a true angle with God to see what you're doing to your people. And I hope you hear that.
Well, thank you, caller, for your contribution. You made an excellent contribution today. Thank you, caller. I believe we have another caller on the line. Mr. Producer, is the caller still there? Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, what's happening?
And good afternoon to guests. Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Hey,
I know the guest of slaying that reg, but I understand the way he say he might use more lawyer to him. I understand what that means.
Okay.
But I see it happen in the Bahamas. Professor Muckman, I'm up with a scripture, but I was going to throw a scripture before I start talking.
Yeah, okay. We need to hear the scripture. We need to hear the scripture, man. That's our only comfort.
Yeah, but that's only comfort, man. Yeah. But I understand this. But I see this happen before. But I know what this is here. I see something happen similar to this. But what this is here, I have no idea. So I ain't going to try to answer it. Listen here, first when you was talking about how God thing up, let's go with Isaiah 42. And I got to go with this. Esther chapter 8. Now, first, let's get back to the thing up. I see this happen before. You know who did this? I don't know. We got to watch whatever this doing here. I don't know what this is. I understand it. But I know a gentleman did it before. Mr. Shane Gibson. I could use his name because it's public record. Some people was they just was squatting on the land. They wasn't had no thing up. And he didn't need that land to build some house in. And he take whoever was there and he maybe give them a little something. He turned that place into subdivision for Bahamians. Now I understand what this is here. I have no idea. But if anyone on do a little research, Shane Gibson did that up in Michael Road. Some people was on the land, they take them off and he give them a little something. And he turned the area to subdivision for Bahamians. Now, this what my man saying, I understand this, so I can't answer this. You all have a blessed day.
Thank you, caller. I believe we have another call on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Sidney Magada, Walter Thompson, and Mr. Dwayne Hyler.
Yes, ma'am.
Good day.
This is Berenice Johnson, the original. You all haven't heard from me as often because I have been placed where they disable my call app. I am unable to call out, and this is the very subject that I was speaking to you all about. That's why I identify myself as the royal ghetto from the...
Yeah, you did say that, yes. Hello, you still there, Berenice? Berenice, please call back. I don't know, maybe some disconnecting on your phone. I've been through that kind of experience before, and it really is disgusting. to just be cut off while you're trying to make a conversation. Particularly when you're paying for these calls, you know. Berenice, please call back. We would like to hear from you. Mr. Hyler, I did not know we were going to take this twist in the turn today. But this is open line, and anything can happen when you have open line on a Friday. I believe we have another caller on the line. Caller, you live on air.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Let me
please.
see if I could try to finish my, because anybody out there who knows where I live, Hay Street, East of Market, please bring me a bubbler so I can communicate with the outside world, because this is not about Mr. Brave Davis. Okay, this is the external forces that I told you about, and they are anti-America, anti-white human beings, and that is one of the reasons you were trying to find out why Her Majesty was being the titular head, because she said she has placed her bedrock of faith in Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And these people are anti-Jesus Christ of Nazareth. All three of our prime ministers were placed under deadly attack. And we in the Royal Bahamas Police Force that's why I say post 1989, and I do not articulate much of what is out there, because this was a high-profile pilot project. This house here through Hay Street, East of Market, was paid in full by the United States of America, federal government, and the financial crimes that has happened from 1912. But it will be fast forward, and it is orchestrated by external factors. And Berenice Johnson is a part of the solution, because I was the lead investigator as they were doing this electronic currency transfer from 1980.
But Berenice,
Okay.
we're talking about this incident in Fox Hill now,
This
where the
is what it
government.
includes.
But
Okay,
no, hold on,
we are
hold
bringing
on.
in Africans.
hold
They
on,
are lying
hold
and
on,
saying it's the Haitians. I
hold on.
spoke to this on Ms. Philippa Russell's show. I don't know if she's under deadly coercion.
Okay, can you
No,
hold a minute?
Hold on. Let me just finish this point while the phone's still on. Because of certain implications, they want to populate, say, the nation, black up the Bahamas and brown up America. Nobody ought to be in the United States presidential campaign from the Bahamas or any other area around the world, because that's a federal government, and it is the universal divine currency of In God We Trust. Everybody used that to borrow, and we in the Bahamas collectively must come together. And that's why I told Mr. What the young boy name, Michael Pintard, the Honorable Michael Pintard, this is the handing over of this nation by the elders. They are disrespecting our old people. And good afternoon to Her Excellency for Life, Dame Margaret Pinley, because her husband's name shall be claimed by the three prime ministers, and our white Bahamians were never racist, and that shall be shared. And good afternoon to King Charles III.
Berenice,
Yes.
you kind of going off into so many different areas.
Because I have to try and cover as much. They have disabled my phone.
Okay.
You have internet criminal terrorists. The man who who used to be on the show with Michelle Malcolm said the new norm is to steal other people's money, other people's identity, and other people's intellectual properties.
Okay.
That is what they're doing now worldwide.
Yes,
and he's a part of this. So it doesn't matter who wins, from Miss Kamala Harris or Mr. President Donald John Trump. Of course, he caused the universal recognition to the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. And I made that aware, because the people in the Bahamas didn't even know what the Holy Sepulchre was. Because we did our biblical research in the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution. See, Berenice goes off on such a tangent. It's kind of difficult to have a discussion with her.
Mm-hmm. Some comments from Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what those comments are. Then I'll speak to it. Let's see the comments.
One person is saying, concerning the property in Fox Hill.
Yes.
The people in Fox Hill need help.
Yes, they do.
One person is saying, Mr. Thompson, get the MP for Fox Hill on the phone or on the show.
Okay.
Another person says, this is criminal to the highest order. Then one person says they are playing around with our livelihood, using word, spell, and language, gaslighting us. We need to unite and stop listening to them because they are not feeling or caring about us organic Bahamians.
Okay.
One person says, we joking. We will not stand up. Say a Bahamian told me they're not getting in the politics. And another said they're waiting on election to make a mark. They're waiting on election to vote. Professor.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
That's it.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate the comments from the people of Facebook. That's good. But we need solutions, Bahamians. See, a lot of comments are being made, but we're not getting solutions. I'm hearing the music in the background, so I'm gonna have to shut up. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. I have my special guest here today, Dwayne Hyler. We're having an interesting discussion. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. I remember that one this time. We'll be back after the break.
Facebook and Instagram for daily updates. Say hello to goodbyes when you make us your first stop.
From East Street to Blue Hill Road, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, and I have to put my the email out there. I forgot to do that. Let me say it now while I'm at it. Sydney M. Thompson, SIDNEY M. Thompson at hotmail.com. I want all my listeners, please send me an email. What is it that you can do to assist in solving these problems that we have in this country? You've got to be aligned with your constitution. That's your salvation document. If you fool around with anything else, you're going to lose Bahamians. We could lose our country. We have to fight with that what we know we can win, and win all the time. You take any crap before the court, it's going to get thrown out. It must be rock solid, constitutionally sound. Don't mind what these other people saying, talking all this foolishness and this nonsense. You see how messed up this place is? You see this notice here in the press? In the Guardian Tribune, this big notice about what's happening in Fox Hill? Where are we taking this country, Bahamians? You see why I told you to give me my 18 months? I told you, oh, we have a caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there? I'm not hearing anything. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. No, I'm not hearing a caller. Mr. Bruce, I'm not hearing anything. We'll have to move on. But the point is, Bahamians, we need to do something. And I told you specifically what I believe can be done. Even now. And some people talk about they're waiting for the election time to come around and all that sort of thing. That election has its place and time. The point is, you can do something today. Send me an email today. Don't do it tomorrow. Send it to right now as you talk to me. Send it to me now. Sydney M. Thompson at hotmail.com. Let me hear from you. Put your name and your number and your date of birth and where you live and all that kind of thing in it. And tell me that you want to help in your constituency. You want to do something to save the Commonwealth around. Babies, we got to save this place. Article 24(1) of your Constitution. I believe we have a caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, caller. Caller, you there?
Yeah, Professor.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Now, that person they talking about with that land and Foxes, that's Derek Davis.
That's who?
Derek Davis.
Derek Davis.
Who owned the Fox Hill Jungle Club and the food store and those tractors and stuff.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah,
okay. But then he's a staunch VLP. Why they want to do that to him?
Well, that's a good question.
He's a staunch VLP.
I'm not going to disagree with what you say.
Huh?
I'm not disagreeing with what you say.
He's a staunch VLP, so why they want to do that to him?
Well, all they can say is if they do that to him, what they can do to us.
Thank you very much. And that's Rodney Munkel family. I can call Rodney Munkel this evening on the show and tell him what happened. What they trying to do to your cousin.
yeah. No, but see, but caller, I'm glad you called in to express your view, because see, the thing is, when I read the purpose in this paper, why they're acquiring the land, I don't understand why you want to take land from low-income people to go to give to some other low-income people. Does that make any sense to you?
Professor?
Yeah.
He ain't no low-income people now. He got money. Get money to burn. Now, why he ain't pay taxes, I don't know.
But these lands are occupied by other people. Are they all his family members? Is that what you're saying?
No, they might be renting. They got a lot of houses they rent, all in Rural Avenue, all over the place.
Oh, I get you. Okay, all right.
You see?
That puts a different spin on it.
Yeah, he no poor man.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think he's doing well now. I think he's kind of sick now, you see?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you're saying all these pieces of property that are mentioned here in the papers could possibly be owned by one particular person?
Yes, Watton Foxhill, not owned by him.
No, that's just one. That's only one person.
Yes.
See, you have many families here. Ferguson, Gardner, Davis there, but you have Bristol, Moss, Brown, Fitzgerald. It's many families, and this may just be one, one posting. We don't know how many of these we're gonna see.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it could depend on how the people respond to this.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
But call it the streets that he named. I'm familiar with a number of those streets.
Right.
And you ain't got no wealthy people living on them.
Yes.
So I'm saying, why are you going to take land from low-income people? Because some of these pieces of property are much smaller, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yes, some are smaller.
Okay.
9,000 square feet.
9,000 square feet. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, give me a break, man.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make any
5,000
sense? Does that make any sense to you,
square feet.
caller?
Well, that's so that he ain't get no heart. The prime minister ain't get no heart.
Lord have mercy.
No heart.
I see. Anytime when I come before these live microphones, I don't even know how the show is going to go.
Yes. Yes.
Because I have to be prepared to shift. And when this came up, I mean, this has been the topic of the show from the time we brought it up.
Right.
Straight on through, yeah. But I'm happy that you called, man, and
Yes,
put some
yes.
light on it.
Yeah.
Listen, I want you to leave your name and number with my producer. I
Yeah,
want to
no
give
problem.
you a call. Yeah. Mr. Producer, take his name and number because we got to call him, man. He
You
could give
know-
me some more information.
Another
Yeah,
caller.
we have another caller. Call you. I appreciate these people calling in today. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, go ahead. It's Bruce. I'm getting a feedback. from what I just said. I'll call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yes, and a hello to your guest.
Yeah, Mr. Hyla.
Yes, good day. Good day. Thank you.
Yes, I'm calling from Freeport again.
Yes, ma'am.
Professor, I know we always talk about the Haitians, doing their thing to take
I'm getting
over
a
the
feedback.
country, right?
I'm getting a feedback in the background. You're trying to talk to me, and someone is
Are
behind
you meaning from the radio?
Well, you need to shut it off.
Turn it off?
Yeah, you have to because it's
Okay,
it's causing
no
feedback.
problem, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay, are we better now?
Yeah, man, because the feedback is disturbing the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
okay,
about that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was just in Nassau. Nassau is my home, even though I live in Freeport.
Yes, ma'am.
I usually go when there's family gatherings, weddings, funerals, or whatever. I went over there for the 27th of last month for one of my siblings' funeral,
Yes, ma'am.
and my mouth still dropped. Remember, I just mentioned that we always talk about the Haitians,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
and after funerals, family gatherings are on, and I was with my baby brother, and he stopped at a Chinese store to get some drinks.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, when I say drinks, some alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
for the family gathering.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sitting in the car and I'm looking up at the post. I can't remember the Chinese name, but it's saying this name, restaurant and bar.
Yes.
So I said to myself, I say restaurant and bar. So I said to him, I say, you are at the wrong place to go get liquors. So he said, no, sister, you watch this. Watch how much people come out here with liquor. So I said, they have a license for restaurant and bar.
Right.
So he said, sister, that goes into the MP's pocket. I think you can't do that in Freeport. You can't put in for a restaurant and bar and have a liquor store going on. And when I look in clothes, I say not only the Haitians, but the Chinese are taking over the Bahamas. He said that go into the politician's pocket. I said, what the hell is going on here in my country?
Yes, ma'am.
So the next morning, which was Monday morning, I was leaving out to take the first flight back to Freeport.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
on our way to the airport, it was this truck, and I telling you, it was full of Chinese.
Wow.
So I asked my brother, I said, where are they going? He said, what do you mean they're going to open up their stores? I said, what the hell is going on in our country?
Yes, ma'am.
Our country is being taken away from all kind of different angles.
That is correct. That's correct.
So I've never heard you all say anything about that with the Chinese. How could you have a license for a restaurant and bar, and in there anybody can go and get, and then people are coming out with like boxes of alcohol?
That's an interesting point you raised.
Caller, let me just add to what you're saying. Our government put out a statement that they suspect that alcohol is actually being imported and smuggled into the country.
It has to be.
That's a report from our government. So they put a number on it. They're saying they're estimating as much as $200 million.
That's a lot of cash.
Well, I mean, my mouth drop. I
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said, what? I mean, we are in a mess.
So we're not even getting tax money.
No, you're
And
not
that's
getting
the
any
thing
tax
about. That's
money.
what I said to him. I
Mhm.
said, are we getting any tax money from it? And my brother, he's a man,
Yes,
and he
ma'am.
said, sis, this just goes in the politician's pocket. I said, what the crap is going
Hardly
on?
any benefit to the public, to the Bahamian public.
None.
Yeah.
So
And it's
when he
sad, and it's
mentioned,
getting worse.
yes, ma'am. When he mentions politicians, he's talking about our representatives in the House.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. You ain't got to say
Anyway,
no more on that one. I understand where you're going with that.
so from I came back, I was trying to get back on here to talk about it. Anyway, by you all saying it's an open
No, it's open
conversation
line here,
today.
man. You could
Right,
talk about
saying
that.
that it's an open line today. I said, let me voice my opinion on that.
And you down in, you say you're in Grand Bahama now?
Yes, I was the one who spoke with you the other day when we had the murder down here. You asked me for
Oh,
my number.
yes.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
but I'm going to be in touch with you because I got quite a few numbers to call. I appreciate you. Once you left your number with the producer, he gave that to me. I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
man, I appreciate that, man. That's wonderful that
come
you
on, man.
noticed that.
We need to start loving our country.
Yeah. Now that's why I have to call on the people. I threw that situation out on July the 8th. A whole month has passed, and I said to the Bahamian people, listen, man, you have to give Professor an opportunity. Give me my 18 months because we need to do something in our country
I
to
mean,
save this place. And the only way I know we're going to save it is through our Constitution.
yeah,
That's our salvation document. We don't have nothing else to work with.
and we would have still been dumb if you wasn't coming on this show
Yes,
and
ma'am.
letting us know our rights.
Well, thank God for management of the station to allow me to be
I
here.
mean,
Mhm.
all these things that I'm learning by listening in here, I never knew. And then
Yes,
what about
ma'am.
our kids and our grandkids?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know,
That's
if
very
we're not going to
true.
do anything now, and they're coming up young and all this stuff going on, what do we expect them to do?
No, you're quite right, ma'am. See, this is why I said to people, the Constitution empower us to take action. See, if we didn't have this document, we would have nothing to work with.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. But thank God for the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Amen.
They cannot stop you one iota. I don't care what kind of noise they make. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they write. I will ignore them to the hilt.
Yes.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
Yes. Yes.
You don't need to be afraid of them.
I mean, because I remember years ago, even here, I can still remember location, even though the bazaar is dilapidated now.
Yes,
Chinese used to just have like restaurants
Yes,
and
ma'am.
stuff like that. And growing up in Nassau, we know about the food stores
Oh,
and
yes.
stuff like that. And there
Yeah.
was, yeah. There
But
was
now
a,
this is a whole new thing they got going.
thank you.
Gee, I know just what you're talking about because you say you used to live over here.
Yes,
Yeah.
I grew up with going to the Chinese stores, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
I remember there was a time because I can still remember a Chinese store where they used to have the babies to the cash register, holding the babies up on their shoulder and stuff,
Yes,
and they
ma'am.
never hired Bahamians.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and there was a time that it was an issue, and then they started hiring Bahamians because
Yes, ma'am.
it became an issue.
No, that
But
is true.
now
This is getting out of control.
out of control.
Yes, ma'am,
Where
yes.
are the Bahamians who are going to stand up for this country? I
I
heard
am
y'all
glad.
said something earlier about somebody said Davis and another name. I don't remember the name. Is going to still maintain their seat.
Yeah, that is what was said on another show. I mentioned it early in the show. Davis and the Minister of Tourism and Aviation, because I don't recognize no office, no deputy prime minister. That is a bunch of crap. Okay?
Well. That person who said that, or persons who said that, either they out of their mind or they must be a Haitian.
They're talking foolishness. Utter
Thank you.
nonsense and
Either
foolishness.
they're illusional or they are Haitian.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I just don't know. We just don't know what to tell. I don't know if I shared with you one time, and this was in the 80s.
Yes, ma'am.
that I was in between car and I caught the public service bus here in Freeport.
Yes, ma'am.
And the bus driver, there was these two young ladies. They could have only been in their high teens, and they were in the back seat speaking Creole. And the bus driver, I saw when he looked up in the mirror and looked at their faces, and he said to them, "Why are you all talking Creole and you all can speak English?" You know what one of those ladies said to that bus driver? I would never forget those words. "Shut up, because we're going to take over this country soon."
Yeah,
And they're doing it.
Yeah, they are doing it. Well, thank you very much for your call. You're going to be hearing from me very soon.
Okay, sir.
And thank you very much for your contribution.
Okay, though. Okay, then.
I believe we have another caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Brother Thompson. And good
Hey,
afternoon.
what's happening, man?
Yeah, everything all right? Good afternoon, Brother Hyla.
Good afternoon. Good day.
Yes, good day.
Yes.
That was an interesting call, man. I appreciate the lady's contribution, especially
No, it's
the part
very
where
good
she was-
contribution.
Yes, where she was talking about the Chinese because that's an issue that we really don't talk about. You know what I mean? It's
No, you're quite right.
Yeah, it's a very serious thing. When you look around, that's all you see.
All you see.
And,
Yes.
and I mean, what's even more interesting, Brother Thompson, is I think Brother Hyla said something about $100 million worth of smuggled alcohol.
Yes, he said
Right,
that.
and I mean, he's just talking about smuggle.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, you have legal alcohol too that you could
That
add
is
to that
true.
amount in terms of the amount of alcohol that is here.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean, being
tremendous
brought in, right?
amount. Yeah.
And the thing about it, Brother Thompson, is that we boast that it's a Christian nation.
Yeah.
But the Bible talk about strong drink.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But we promote that. All over the radio and stuff like that. I mean, to me, it's just something. It's just an interesting thing to think about. You know what I mean?
Okay.
How we a Christian nation, but what I see developing again, Brother Thompson, and I think it's sad, is that we having some tension again. It's coming up with the Bahamians and Haitians again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, when I saw the government starting to partake in the destruction of some of the shanty towns, right? I thought to myself, well, what is the government going to use now as a distraction? Because for years and decades, that's been the thing that the government has used as a distraction.
Yes.
So I was saying to myself, well, if the government is actually going to deal with the problem, what are they going to use now? Because it had me a bit concerned as to what could possibly be, the replacement for it.
Okay.
Well, like I said before, it's just a sad thing to see that it seems as if that's going to be the focus again, because it's going to take us into a cycle again where we're going to get no productivity, where we're going to just be addressing and it's going to just produce animosity between the Haitian and the Bahamian community.
Okay.
Whereas all of our frustration should be focused on the government. You understand where I'm coming from, Brother Thompson?
I understand you
And
clearly.
in a small country like this, that's kind of dangerous in a way. You know what I mean? Because you have to
Yes.
look at it from all perspectives. Also, you have to look at it. Suppose you were a Haitian individual and you were born here, and an individual is just doing you wrong, and you're just trying to live a positive life, and you just, you know what I mean, no real problem of your own. You can't help but to feel a bit agitated also, even though some people
Yes,
might
you would
talk
be.
about, oh, well, you ain't supposed to be and all kind of ray talk and stuff. We're just talking about reality life, you know what I mean? Aside from that too, we all African people, but I ain't gonna talk about that part. But what I want to ask Brother Thompson, what I want to ask Brother Thompson is, seeing that it's open line, is that I was curious. With the BPL situation, right? Because the BPL is still BPL still exists, and BPL is still owned by the people, right?
Yes.
But I think that what BPL still has is the debt.
Yeah,
Right, I
500
think-
million plus.
Yeah, I think BPL is still carrying a debt, right?
Yeah.
So if if we have other individuals now who are gonna take over the revenue aspect of BPL, right?
Yes.
How are we gonna pay the debt?
That's an excellent question.
You understand where I come from?
Yeah.
How is BPL? How are we as a people now
Excellent
gonna earn the
questions.
money to pay BPL debt? But that can come from now if other people earning all the money from BPL.
Well,
That's an interesting question.
well-
Brother Halle, you want to come?
Well, I'll just say this quickly. It is so shocking, caller, that questions like that one and other major questions are still unanswered.
Yes, sir.
It is unanswered, but yet union leaders and entire unions
Shameful.
allowed this government to do whatever they wanted to do,
Shameful leaders.
even though the law states that it should not be.
That's
Yes,
And
correct.
on this show, we spoke of the duty to consult.
Yes, sir.
It's written in our
In
law.
the law, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we looking at the law,
That's right.
watching the government go against it
Go against it. That's
and
correct.
still saying nothing. You know
Yes.
something?
Yes, sir.
At the top of the union representation is a king's counsel, a man of the law.
Yes, sir.
But he gonna come before the nation with multiple pages and very large pictures and draw our attention to a memorandum of understanding,
Yes, sir.
a
Yes,
piece
sir.
of paper with promises on it,
Yes, sir.
and then you understand exactly where I'm
I
coming from,
understand where you're coming from.
and with like a shocked tone of voice can tell the public, a politician, whether it's a prime minister or not, oh, he broke his promise,
Yes.
and you can walk off into silence. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
full matter.
Yes, sir.
You trying to tell me that's the end of it? That's
yes,
it?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
the people's
Yes, sir.
property.
Yes, sir.
And you, a lawman, did not address the law?
Yes, sir.
You ain't open your mouth on the law yet.
Yes, sir.
Did not address the Constitution once.
No,
Not
didn't.
once, Mr. Hyla.
What's going on?
And see, Mr. Hyla, you see, and that's why I feel as if it's sad when you talk about like travel, like things, injustices like that going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then see, that's why I was concerned about the Haitian issue coming up again.
Mm.
Because in the light of all of that, what you spoke about and much more, because what you talk about, I mean, it's just a drop in the bucket as you know, as to what's going on in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be sad that we as a people would only focus on the Haitian issue.
Understood.
You understand where
Yeah,
I'm coming
I
from,
understand
sir?
what
And,
you're
see,
saying.
and
Yeah.
that's why I'm worried about that, because we need to get off that. You know what I mean? We need to find some type of resolution
Mm-hmm.
where if I pour and you pour, right, then we pour. We have something in common.
Right.
Right now, you may be a Haitian, you may be of Haitian descent, I may be of Bahamian descent, but we have something in common. We are poor.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we can fight against each other on the bottom, while to make it easier for individuals to walk on us, or are we going to come together as poor people and like demand what's right? Because it's enough for all of us that this country is run correctly.
Of course.
You know, and
Definitely.
if you consider history, like, you know, we're supposed to be living as one people, as black people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So all I'm trying to say is that I don't want to see the country fall into this xenophobic hysteria, because it was one issue that we forget politics for, that F&M, PLP, DNA, COI, no matter what political persuasion, it was one issue that all of them could unite together on for some reason, is Haitian.
Mm.
Okay.
You understand where I'm coming from? So but like I say, this is a very good show today, Brother Thompson and Brother Hyla. And like I say, so let's try not to let it get into that area of just focusing on the Bahamian Haitian problem, and let's focus, because it's all about leadership. It's a leadership that is allowing everything around here to be a problem. So let's focus. Let's put our energy and our focus on the right thing, like our brother Thompson was talking about. Let's deal with some solutions.
Yeah,
You'll have a wonderful
I
weekend,
appreciate
gentlemen.
that. Caller, thank you very
And
much.
thank you very much as well.
I had a music in the
Yeah.
background, so you better get your comment in now while we have time.
Well, you know, I think it's sad. My mind goes back to about 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
where we have to have the United States government put a statement in our newspapers that our government is stalling. No party, as you always tell us, Professor.
Yes.
The leadership of the Bahamas is not serious about integrity, freedom of information,
Yes.
fighting corruption. Those are the statements that were made. And we need to get away from the color thing, as you keep telling us,
Yeah, we
Professor.
have to,
And
yeah.
I'll leave it right there.
Right.
All of the parties that have served, all of them are working against the small man.
That's sad. But there's something we can do about it. And Bahamians, I appreciate you participating in the show. We had a very good show today. And many
Foxhill,
calls that
stand up,
came in.
Foxhill, stand up.
Foxhill,
Say something.
Please, people in Foxhill, send me an email, because you need to be organized up there. You got some serious problems in Foxhill. And that applies to all the communities I set out. Please send me an email, SydneyMThompson@hotmail.com, with your name, your address, And what is it you feel you can do to help change your constituency and help change the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? This has been Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. Have a very pleasant weekend and play it safe, Bahamians, because we want you to stick around until the man come back. Have a pleasant weekend, and thank you very much for listening and participating.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our